Thank you, Dan. Hi, everyone. Thank you to the Des Moines Register for doing this. This is a historical thing where candidates have an opportunity to speak to the fairground, the audience. And I want to thank everybody who's here, and I want to thank all the other candidates that stood up here with this stage that has a bit of a port list, I must say, from a maritime perspective. But that's okay because the water is going that way. Okay, thank you so very much. Good afternoon, Iowa, and happy fairgrounds activities here in Des Moines. Couldn't possibly be happier. There's a lot of people here, and I want to say thank you for braving the inclement weather. This reminds me of on a ship, on a bridge wing, this is what you stand in while you're steaming around in the seven seas, and you're ever so happy that it's actually fresh water coming down. And from a farming perspective, my roots, there's no amount of rain that's ill-timed. This is wonderful, and we need this here. Okay, so here we go. George Washington said something very interesting when he was finishing his tour as our president, and that was that we should look out for the political parties and members of the political parties when they try to usurp the will of the people under the banner of political parties. Okay? So what we are saying in my campaign, and what I believe in my soul as a military person of 39 years and a guy from rural Iowa, where in politics around the kitchen table in Sioux Center, Iowa, Lebanon actually, a town of 48 people, 11 of them were my family, 9 were in the family next door, that we didn't talk politics. We had work to do. The work on the machine shop, work on the farm. We had work amongst the family to get things going. We didn't talk politics. And in the military, we didn't talk politics as to who was going in combat with us, who was in the ship next door. If you came aboard the ship, what your political affiliation was. We didn't care. It was not part of the check-in sheet. So as I step out as a civilian, as a 3-star admiral, I now see the politically charged environment that now haunts us. And it's the Iowa that I don't recognize, where dinners are awkward, conversations are stilted, where you're not so sure if you're friends with your neighbor anymore. People, we cannot have this future. We must have a new dawning. We must think differently about things. There's far more things that make us the same, with the same want and the same wishes, than what separate us. We need to, number one, we need to put country over party. We need to put people over politics. We need to rejuvenate the root of Iowa, the soul of Iowa, that was first in the nation in so many things, first in education, first in discussing who we ought to marry and who not getting involved in things we shouldn't be getting involved in, the place where environmentally sound agricultural practices were first established, the place where the greatest scientists came out of, the place that educated George Washington Carver when no one else would. The places that brought women into graduate school before other people, the people that sent my mom to college in the 30s, the people that sent my aunt to graduate school in the 20s. This is the Iowa that leaned forward. And I'm so happy to be in the political party, not to get overly political, which has a reputation of leaning forward in society, positive things, like women's suffrage, rural electrification, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. These are basic democratic principles we are all reliant on today. We must do better. We must think about the future of America, not get balled around with the difficulties in the political leadership in Washington, D.C. This leadership cadre, when we were in January of '02 and congealed as a nation, 100% together after 9/11, is still the leadership cadre that has now marched us apart. We need to do better. Let's look for a more progressive future. Let's think about the next generation. Let's think about the continuity of the century farm into 2 centuries. Let's talk about around the kitchen table what's important to get things accomplished. I would like to lead with that clear-eyed future. Grown up in northwest corner of Iowa, very rural, 10 miles from the nearest town, ship captain, took a scholarship, Commodore, many ships, land forces commander in a combat environment. I was promoted by an Army officer not once, but twice in my career. I talk all the different services. I know State Department. I know diplomatic work, humanitarian work, all the things on how to construct a society, how to build a society out, the tenets of society. This is what we need in the future. You want to rejuvenate the electrical grid in the state of Iowa? I know how. I will make Iowa the leader in energy production and the cheapest energy grid in the United States. Give me a chance to help you out. Give me a chance to do what I can for my home state. We owe it to our progeny. We owe it to the next generation to do better. Very happy for this opportunity, and I wish all candidates would stand up here and have a discussion. And those that don't want a discussion up here, please let's at least have a debate where we actually talk about the future of this nation, this state, our families, our friends, and how we enjoy, love, look out after those we've never met as much as those we know, a basic democratic principle. Thank you for this opportunity, and I'm absolutely bowled over to have a chance to chat. Let me finish by saying again, I'm all about country over party, people over politics. Thank you.